New U.S. laser aircraft carrier will destroy China in seconds. The brand new laser aircraft carrier from the U.S. is a terrible tool. It is a tool with the power to alter the course of human history. The strain is already apparent among the Chinese. They are rushing to create their own laser weapons because they are aware that the United States will always have the upper hand in any fight. It could already be too late. A game changer is the new U.S. laser aircraft carrier. It is a weapon with the potential to completely destroy China in a matter of seconds, and the Chinese will be unable to equal it for many years to come. The U.S. laser carrier is prepared to defeat China. War negotiations between the U.S. and China are frequently reported in the media. China has been caught using full-size replicas of U.S. aircraft carriers as target practice in the Taklamakan Desert of northwest China, demonstrating how effective Chinese hypersonic missiles could be against America's supercarriers. China was previously suspected of spying on the U.S. with a balloon that was spotted floating above the country. The USS Gerald supercarrier, for example, is the largest, most costly, frightening, and most dangerous aircraft carrier ever constructed, with a displacement of 100,000 tons and a price tag of $13 billion. More air power is available on the supercarrier than in the combined air forces of at least 60 countries. It has an infinite supply of built-in defenses, a large fleet of cruisers, destroyers, frigates, and submarines, and can operate for 25 years without refueling. The USS Gerald Ford may be obliterated in a single hit, though, if China's hypersonic missiles are even half as potent as they are said to be. The U.S. military has already invested hundreds of millions of dollars in creating a weapon that hits so swiftly to protect its fleet from potential threats from Chinese hypersonic missiles. Hypersonic missiles appear sluggish in comparison. This laser weapon is intended to be incorporated into ships and aircraft carriers. This is America's response to China. The relationship between the United States and China has been strained by tensions, particularly due to China's unwavering ambition to annex Taiwan and the United States' unwavering commitment to ensuring Taiwan's independence. In that regard, U.S. President Joe Biden hasn't held back. He signed a defense funding measure in December of 2022 that provided Taiwan with up to $10 billion in aid. China also asserts sovereignty over Taiwan and almost the whole South China Sea, thousands of kilometers away from its own coasts. However, only territorial claims that extend 12 nautical miles offshore are recognized by international law and enforced by the United States. It appears that the United States' naval presence is the only thing stopping China from taking a more aggressive stance against foreign activity in the waters, since these territorial limits are still hotly contested. The recent trip to Taiwan by former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi may be the largest American response to China's assertion that the United States will intervene if it launches an unjustified attack on one of its friends. Despite its disapproval, China responded to the visit by firing a DF-17 missile barely 75 miles away from Taiwan. Although this was called a test, it was seen by some outside of China as more of a message and a reminder of what the country's military capabilities had advanced to. The DF-17 missile, which was fired, measures 36 feet long and weighs 33,000 pounds. It is an advanced hypersonic missile that has undergone 7 successful tests. It can go 1,600 miles at its maximum range. A real hypersonic missile with a flying ceiling of 197,000 feet and the ability to maneuver while in flight to avoid air defense. Additionally, China is in possession of the hypersonic Xingkong-2 Wave Rider missile, which has a maximum range of 6,200 miles and a ceiling of 98,000 feet. In addition to a top speed of Mach 6, China now has more operational hypersonic missiles than the U.S. thanks to these 2 missiles. Currently, Russia's 3M-22 Zircon, which has a peak speed of Mach 9, is China's sole competitor in this area. The Avant-Garde has a peak speed of Mach 27, while the KH-47M2 Kinsal has a top speed of Mach 12. In reality, Russia made history in 2022 when it fired a hypersonic missile during hostilities when the nation invaded the nation and fired a KH-47M2 Kinsal at a target in Ukraine. China and Russia have undoubtedly gotten off to a fast start in the hypersonic missile market. Their arsenal has far surpassed that of the United States. Quite literally, this could be because the U.S. is significantly more focused on laser-directed energy weapons than hypersonic missiles. And although China has developed its 30-kilowatt LW-30 laser weapon to a point where it can counter drones, missiles, and low-flying aircraft, the U.S. remains unrivaled when it comes to laser weapons, thanks to decades of a head start. In fact, the U.S. Navy has already tested and approved a laser weapon that's 400% more powerful than that of China. This laser weapon is the high-energy laser with optical dazzler and surveillance, or Helios for short, and it is currently deployed to burn down the widest range of threats for the deck of the USS Preble destroyer. The Navy has taken notice of Lockheed Martin's 40 years of experience in directed energy as they created the 60 to 120 kilowatt high-intensity laser weapon known as Helios. The $150 million development contract for Helios was released in 2018, and by 2022 the weapon was prepared for installation, testing, and trials. On the forward part of the Burke-class destroyer USS Preble, Helios was fitted to replace a 20mm Vulcan cannon-armed Mk-15 Phalanx closed-in armament system. The $19 trillion testing and trials began once the installation was finished. Helios could engage unmanned aerial systems and small boats from a position aboard the ship that was more than 5 miles distant. These targets have proven to be too big to ignore, yet too inexpensive to kill, with American missiles costing $1 million at a commensurate cost, especially when they operate in swarms. Helios has a cheap cost of firing, apparently less than the cost of a cup of coffee, like any other sophisticated laser weapon, tipping the scales back in favor of the U.S. military. EVO shooting, a type of light that is capable of causing reasonably priced devastation, would strike its targets at a speed of 186,000 miles per second. No projectile, drone, fighter jet, or hypersonic missile could possibly outrun it because of the global speed limit. But Helios isn't just about cooking a target until it crashes. It goes much beyond that. It's also a dazzler that obscures adversarial spying and attacks by blinding sensors and confusing missiles. Helios is also a tool to support long-range intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Its sensors will be part of an integrated weapon system known as Aegis. The Navy's most sophisticated surface fighting system is called Aegis. It gives decision-makers the knowledge they need to make thoughtful choices and find the best solutions. The overall survivability of ships using the Helios is increased as a result. Whether it's the USS Preble, another Burke-class destroyer, a ship with a large deck for amphibious landings, or an aircraft carrier, like the USS Gerald Ford. The future of the Pacific is now in the balance. The United States has a new weapon that could give it a decisive advantage in any conflict with China, but the Chinese are not going to give up without a fight. The next few years will be critical. The United States and China will be engaged in a technological arms race, and the outcome of that race will determine the future of the Pacific. Will the United States maintain its dominance, or will China rise to the challenge of the American superpower? Write your views in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos.